Three, two, one, and we're live. Andrew Dafnos. Good afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Worley. Appreciate it. Long overdue.
You got it, buddy. Yeah, this is the perfect subject matter for you. Today we're going to be talking about IU's football's run to the championship and national championship, and super excited to get in it with you. I don't know of a bigger IU football fan than you. Known you for now, what, like 15 years now, and even our freshman year back at Indiana back in 2008. I heard that you were still up at the student section cheering our boys on the dark years, and happy to give you this platform to tell your story today.
And I still can't believe that I'm even on this just because of what happened just a month ago, right?
Uh-huh.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, for sure, man. So this podcast finds you here in Chicago, right?
Oh yeah.
And I know you just got off a call with work. We're doing this on a Monday afternoon, so appreciate the time. It's been about what, 2, 3 weeks since we won, so I hope it's not too late. But I would love to hear more about just like setting the this when we won, kind of where was your mind at? Was it easy to look back at all those years of following the team? What happened in your mind and in your heart when we won the championship?
Man, I don't even know where to start. I still think I am riding very, very high on this championship. It doesn't still doesn't feel real. It's unbelievable. I was actually lucky enough to actually be at the game. I went to the game in Miami, and it just so happens that actually my older brother went to Miami as well and still lives down there. So it was a great opportunity for my wife and I to go down there and take in the game. But the atmosphere from the very beginning was incredible. It was packed with IU Hoosier fans and and we were loud. It wasn't just packed
Uh,
with Hoosier fans. We made it known that we were there, and it became pretty much a home game within their stadium. But fast forward to the end, we won, and I thought I was in a dream. Pinch me. I mean, it was surreal. And it was a feeling that I'll never forget of just like a body feeling of like, oh my God, we actually did this. And no one, if I told you know, uh, myself 3 years ago that we would be celebrating a national championship in this stadium, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I'm the most optimistic IU football fan,
mhm.
but I tell you, you're lying.
Yeah, no, and I remember I was putting together the questions for this podcast. I was thinking, did Daphnos have a hunch maybe this year or even last year that we had a chance? Because last year we made a run, and we lost to Notre Dame in the playoffs. We kind of looked outmatched in that game by them. Whether it was talent, it certainly wasn't coaching, but this year was different. We kind of steamrolled everybody, it seemed. For me personally, I thought we had a chance to go far when we beat Penn State at the final moment of that game. What became clear to me was that every single micro movement from every positional player, Sigs or whatever positional coach, they had that down to an excellent level where we just didn't make mistakes. We didn't turn the ball over. And Penn State wasn't a perfect game, but that lack of mistakes at the end, I mean, I still don't think I've ever seen a better catch than that catch at the end. And I was like, man, if we just keep not turning the ball over, not making mistakes, as long as we score, no one can keep up with us. And Oregon was a tough game on the road, but we won there. And then throughout the playoffs, like who would have thought that we would steamroll Alabama? Like if you told me that 5 years ago, I'd say you're crazy, you're delusional. But I think a lot of things happened to change the era in terms of the NIL money. We can get into that in a little bit, but let's go back a little bit here, Daph. When you were sitting in the stands in 2008, what was the draw? Like, what was that like? And maybe you tell me a funny story or something that was particularly impactful from that era when IU just was kind of the laughing stock of the Big Ten for football.
Great question. It's kind of wild of how I became an IU fan. It's not just because of me going to the school, and that was my freshman year, because there were a lot of other students, as you know, Nick, that You were fans with other teams. How many Notre Dame fans did you meet in college? Probably quite a bit, right? That there
Hmm.
were IU basketball fans, but Notre Dame football fans, and I was like, "Ah, doesn't feel right with me. I think it
Hmm.
kind of helped that I came from New York. I was born and raised there, and I didn't really have a college football team. Right,
Hmm.
it wasn't very big there. So this was my opportunity to adopt a college football team, and why not just start with my school that I just enrolled in? It's my first year. Might as well root for them. I don't care how bad they are, but hey, the great thing about that is that hey, we can't get worse than this. It's already a program that doesn't have much tradition. So
Hmm.
why not root for them and see what happens? And it's almost like rooting for lovable losers, right?
Hmm.
If you win that marquee game, yeah, that's awesome, and we beat the big bro of the Big Ten. Awesome, and that was really the goal. I think we paraded in the streets anytime we were bowl eligible, which didn't happen in my 4 year IU career, but I
Hmm.
know it's happened in other years as well. But the best part about 2008, I think it was a late season game, and it was really cold, and everyone was tailgating in the lots, but obviously no one went into the game, and the student section was barren, and even like the regular, the non-students as well. There's not a lot of people there. We fit about 52,000 fans in the stadium. I think there was maybe 14,000 fans at the game. I think it was against like Michigan State or something. But I ended up going to the game alone that day
Oh my
because no one
gosh.
wanted to go. And I didn't want to ruin my streak of skipping out on games. So I went,
Yep.
and it was actually awesome because there was no one there, and I was following the chain gang up and down the sidelines
Like walking in the
because
stands, following them.
exactly. So if there was a first down, I would just walk along the line of scrimmage and follow it. And then if there was a kickoff, I would just run to the other side because I could. There was room there. So that's probably my I guess the darkest moment of my IU football career when there was
Hmm.
no fans in the stadium where I could just
Hmm.
walk up and down the field.
Oh my gosh. And you couldn't even give away a ticket. Like I think what they did is they had us check the box when we signed up for classes to add the season tickets for like $100 for the whole year. Did
Yeah.
you do that, or how'd
Oh
you get your
yeah.
tickets?
Oh yeah, I actually did the bundle for football and basketball, and I
Yeah.
remember the basketball portion was just like 90% of the ticket cost for compared to IU football. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
I mean, people would not go to games.
Hmm.
People wouldn't even sell tickets because
Hmm.
you wouldn't be able to get anything for it. You just
Hmm.
burn the tickets or just give them to someone else. It,
Yeah.
it, it was a wild time back then.
Yeah, and I was in high school in 2006 when Terry Hepner was the coach. This is when you were still in high school in New York, and we actually had a couple glimpses of maybe we could be good. But as Siggs came in 2 years ago, 3 years ago, what I heard is that he said that the program offices there was kind of this negativity that was there. Like we're just here because we have a team, basketball or basketball school. And just coach after coach couldn't seem to change the culture. I remember one of the things Sigs did was he put out a letters to all the students saying, "We need you there, like we need you cheering." And I had never seen a coach be that proactive with addressing. I mean, it's almost embarrassing to tell the students you're not pulling your weight, but I like that Coach Sigs had that gumption to do that. And
I love it.
man,
That was incredible. And the reason why I love that letter that he sent to the students is because it reminded me of a specific coach from when we were in school on the basketball side that had a 6-25 season our freshman year, Mr. King Tom Crean.
oh yeah.
He did very things very, very similar to what
Hmm.
Coach Cignetti did in the very beginning, where he
Hmm.
was trying to relate to the fans, get them into the arena. I mean, Tom Green knew at the time that we weren't going to be good, right? But he still wanted that support, and he got that support. We weren't very good back then, but we still came into Assembly Hall to support the team. And Kurt Cignetti has kind of that same mantra of the fans are equally as important for the program and to build a program and get the recruits and get the transfer
Hmm.
stars because they want to play in front of fans. They want to play in front of
Hmm.
passionate fans. And I think that really resonated with the student the
Hmm.
student base, but also winning as well kind of helped with
Hmm.
getting those fans into the stadium. But I love his approach, and I think what he did was fantastic for the future of the season.
Yeah, yeah. I mentioned it in one of our texts, but when I look at what changed, Indiana always had money. We have a huge endowment. We have I think it's the most alumni out there for at least an American school, and we have the desire to win. But it's I guess what I'm saying is that whether it's program negativity or just lack of winning expectation, I think the NIL money and that policy change helped us bring in players that might have gone to maybe sit the bench at bigger or more, successful schools. If I'm a player, what I want to do is I want to win. And I follow Sigs for that. And, let's be honest, like I'm money motivated if that's allowed. And I think Indiana had the ability to do both those things, and that was probably the catalyst that helped us win. But it still isn't easy. Every school has money. Michigan, all the way up to Northwestern, they all have a budget to recruit kids. And if I'm a young prospective kid, I'm saying, who's going to help me win a national championship? You got to put Coach Siggs in top five at least for those that'll help you get there at this point, just based on results. So that's my
Yeah,
point of view.
that's a great point, Nick, because the school did not invest in the football program before Coach Cignetti, right? And
Hmm.
they thought, hey, football's an afterthought. Let's just go all in on basketball. That's where the tradition's at. And they
Hmm.
and past leadership, they just did not care about the football program. It generated money, and yes, it was profitable
Hmm.
because of the TV money coming in and ticket sales and what it
Hmm.
generates for the town. But I think that's kind of the reason why they didn't really prioritize it because hey, it made money. It supports the rest of
Hmm.
the teams in the athletic department. So why do we have to invest? But I think when NIL became a thing, I'll be honest, I was like, this is going to be if I thought there was any sort of hope for Indiana football to have any sort of success, it just got killed right there. Because now I was thinking, well, now all the big dogs are going to, scoop up all the great players. Alabama is going to be even more of a powerhouse, and Michigan, Ohio State, they're always going to be in the Big Ten championship. And
Hmm.
how are we going to compete if we don't even invest in the football program? Forget NIL. We can't invest in the football program and the facilities.
Hmm.
And it just so happened that the stars aligned when Sig came into the mix, where you have a coach that not only is brings in great people and great staff and great players, but he gets the most out of his players. And
Yep,
I
that's
think
what I
that's what's
meant.
the definition
Totally.
of
Yeah.
what a coach should be to maximize the potential. And with that, and of course the high donors and the Mark Cubans of the world, supporting the program along with the school, along with Coach Cignetti, and along with his success, along with who he brought from James Madison in terms of his
Yeah.
old players that really kickstarted the program. I mean, I couldn't believe that we were going down this route or going this route of success in this environment where you would think that we would have no contest. And I think we're here to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you're a big fan of you mentioned him, Tom Crean. When Coach Siggs came in, did you have an immediate point of view on his ability to be successful? Like what were you thinking right when he was hired?
Oh, such a good question. Looking back on it, I try to remember of like, all right, what were my thoughts? And I did remember. So, surprisingly, I never heard of the guy, right? When
Hmm.
when he came and when we announced that we hired him. Funny enough, it's before his infamous introductory press conference where he said, "Oh well, Google me,"
Yeah.
I win. Well, I Googled him before that press conference and I quickly found out that he wins. So I already
Yeah.
knew. But I mean, just look at, his James Madison 4-year tenure, right? His first two seasons were in D1 FCS and not even in the FBS. And then his last two seasons, they were promoted to the FBS side of D1, which is, just wild in itself. He went 19 and 4 in FBS. 19 and 4 in his first two seasons of the program being in an FBS school. They actually finished the season, his last season there, ranked number 25 in the AP poll. I mean, that's for the second season in
Hmm.
James Madison history in FBS. I mean, we would love as Hoosiers to be ranked, let
Yeah.
alone a program that is just in their second year. So what he's did there was incredible. But he had success at Elon as well. He had success at, well, Indiana University, but of
Hmm.
Pennsylvania. I guess there's no relation. Let's be honest, it was a good sign. But at the time, I knew our options were fairly limited. I knew we
Hmm.
weren't going to get that big splash head coach like a Nick Saban with past success. Like, I mean, who would come here? Or like the most coveted offensive or defensive coordinator. We're just going to go to a bigger program to become head coach. So to me, I was like, well, why not go with the high risk, high reward guy? It's like it's not like we have a legacy to tarnish, so why
Hmm.
not?
Yeah, it shows. I think when the history is there of winning, I think matters less where you're playing, but it's more about the habits and, like you said, getting the most out of the players, the things that he instills. One of the things I thought about with Alabama or Michigan, only so many players can actually play on the field. So
Hmm.
they probably have two or three rounds of amazing starters at other schools just on the sidelines. So it is funny how I'm with you. The NIL money, it's like, oh yikes, that means the biggest schools with the biggest football budgets are going to take the players, but there's a lot of great talent out there. And for him to be able to find it, I think he was a recruiting coordinator at Alabama first or at a different school first. He had that muscle, and it's like it all kind of came together as a perfect coach for us. And I think if he was hired by a different school that gave him the ability to do what he did, he might be equally successful. But we're gonna claim Coach Siggs as our own and and just say congrats to him and the team. I wanted to move into one player specifically, and then we'll get into some more fun questions. It'll be a
Yeah.
quick podcast. Let's talk about Fernando Mendoza. So he's been it seems like he's on a media tour right now, all over the place. His energy, his kind of nerdiness that's so it kind of draws you to him, right? He's just such a unique player. A similar question to him when we knew he was going to be our starting quarterback, I heard that you potentially put in a bet that he would win the Heisman. What a ballsy move. Like what was your thought process to do that? And of course you cashed that one. That has to feel good, but tell me more about when he was named the starter.
Yeah, so I'll even go back to when it was announced that he was being he was coming in as a transfer from Cal, right?
Yep.
And this would be obviously Coach Siggs' second year, and he had the success of Curtis Rourke, right, who was a transfer from Ohio. He was a stud,
He was,
and
yeah.
and believe it or not, we come to find out after the season that he played on a torn ACL all year. Which, I mean, you got to be tough as nails, and also to have that success, it's one of those what it could have been, right? And then
Hmm.
so in terms of Fernando, I heard the name. Right? I heard the name, but I didn't know his background. I just know he went to Cal and that he is the older brother to Alberto Mendoza, who the year before Fernando transferred in, I think Alberto was like the third or fourth string QB. So you're kind of a scrub, but I was like, oh, maybe his older brother's better. Who knows? But again, after the first success or the first season success of Curtis Rourke, I was in this mentality of like, well, anything that Coach Siggs touch turns to gold, so I'm
Yeah.
going to trust it. And
Hmm.
as soon as he came in, I quickly realized that this was the right quarterback for the program, right character, right fight that could take us to the promised land.
Yeah, it's so funny how the media focuses on the wrong stuff or just the stuff that is quote unquote like palatable. You know how I feel with my tin hat.
Oh yeah.
They call me Tin Hat Worley. I'm always looking for the conspiracy. But I remember they said Mendoza, he has a weird running style. It doesn't look graceful, but when he runs, he's fast. And I mean, look at what my background right now. The guy has the heart of a champion. And it's just so funny. I felt like Indiana was never given its credit. No one really gave us our credit, at least in the betting lines, until the championship or the game before that. And if you look at Mendoza, his voice cracks. I'd say he's probably really easy to hate if you don't like IU, but he's just so lovable if you do like us. And for a leader, if he's someone that puts the team on his back like he does, who cares if his voice cracks on an interview? Who cares how how he talks, how he runs? He's effective. And I couldn't be more happy to have had Mendoza as our quarterback. Interested to see where he goes in the NFL draft, what number. But those are some of my thoughts on him.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, the interviews are gold, right? They're so entertaining. So, well, why not have a quarterback who is really good on the field and very entertaining in front of the media as well, but not, in a annoying way or not in a bad way, in more of a, oh my God, like this guy is, entertaining in terms of a lovable way. And I think if there was a lot of non-IU football fans that to your point, Nick, if IU had an established program, I think he would be very hateable.
Yeah.
But I think there was a lot of folk that were non Hoosiers that rode behind that because they always like to see the underdog or the little brother win. And because he was tied to it, I think that really rallied the country to be behind Indiana. And I think that's going to carry with him into the NFL. And I really think he's going to be a Raider. I might have to root for the Raiders a few games this year because I would love to see some success over there.
Yeah, I hope he's drafted to them too and can turn things around. I mean, if anyone can do it, it's him. But
Oh yeah.
in the NFL, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of players, takes a lot of good coaching. But we'll see. So, two or three more kind of just basic questions about the year, and then there's going to be a bonus fun question.
Ooh.
The question I had about the year was, at which point this year did you think we had the chance to win it all, or at least make a long run? Or did you always
Um,
know?
I knew since 2008. No, I'm kidding.
Uh,
I would say, since the moment we lost in Notre Dame in the first round of the college football playoff the year before, which is actually our last loss, but believe it or not, back in 2024,
It's so wild to think about
2026
that.
right now.
So
But
wild.
in reality, I knew that we were going to be back in the college football playoff at that next season for the sole purpose is because we lost two games last season, and it was against Ohio State and Notre Dame, which were the two teams that met up in the college football championship that year. So that says a lot, right? The only two games that we lost were against the two best teams in the country. Now, did I think we are going to win the Natty? Of course. The optimistic me says, yeah, of course. But what the game that had me going, oh, this is real now, was the win in Oregon in Eugene when we won by 10. I think that was
The
a
one in the
statement.
middle of the season. Yeah.
Exactly that, and where we won pretty handedly, and that was after we stomped number 9 Illinois. I think it was the week before, or the week before that. Which
Yeah.
you would think that, oh well, if you beat a number 9 ranked team by 50 plus
Mm.
points, wouldn't that be the one? But you don't want to go based off that one game.
Mm.
That road win in a very tough environment, I think, is not a lot of people can do, or not a lot of teams can do. And believe it or not, Oregon lost a total of 2 games this year, both against the same team.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when people ask me what I thought, like when it was the turning point for me, I remember we made Illinois look like like a mid-major. Like that was remarkable. We just manhandled them on all three phases of the football. But then I agreed, like the road games at Oregon, I think all of our friends were, in the group text were saying that those are the tough ones. And when we were able to beat Oregon on the road by 10, there's something there. And
Oh
I just
yeah.
thought about this too. Like it seemed like every game someone different would step up. Obviously, Omar Cooper for the Penn State game. There were several games I feel like Surratt had like 3 touchdowns. Charlie Becker in the national championship and the game before that. Um, there's so many good players. Like you almost just don't want to just focus on Mendoza, but he's the easy one to focus on. I mean, even in the championship, Noah Kowski was the one that actually scored a touchdown along with along with Mendoza. So it's like front to back, our roster, all the coaching, every player seems to be excellent at what they do.
And that was the success of the team, right? Because there were a lot of times, the stats for Fernando Mendoza didn't jump out at you. Yes, he won Heisman, which is fantastic. But if you look at the stat sheet, there was a lot of games where we won, we put up 60 points, but he only had 200 yards passing. Well, he didn't need to pass because we were blowing out teams left and right. I
Mhm.
mean, I think it was the Oregon game in the playoff where he had 5 touchdowns and not a lot of passing yards, which is hilarious because he kept getting great field position almost every
Mhm.
single possession, and that's another thing. The special teams this
Oh my
year,
gosh.
8 block punts. I mean, that's incredible. Our field goal kicker missed 1 field goal all year. Incredible. I mean and sometimes they're forgotten about, but
Mhm.
that's the reason why we had so much success, and that's why not one player needed to be the
Mhm.
star every single game. Everyone took turns.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the Ohio State game in the Big Ten championship. Their kicker missed a field goal, and because of that, we went on, or not because, but it was a big reason we went on to win. Maybe if he hits that, something different happens. But every positional player just is just absolutely doing their job. So
Oh yeah.
cool. Favorite moment of the year, and then one last question.
Favorite moment of the year. Hmm. I mean, so cliche, but Fernando's fourth and fifth, fourth down and with 5 to go, run in the fourth quarter of the Natty, aka what's behind your head.
Yeah, this thing right
That
here.
that is incredible. Actually, I was sitting, kind of parallel to the goal line, so it happened right in front of my face. And when I thought we were going for fourth down there, I was like, oh my god, this could be a make or break play. I mean, why not kick the field goal there and be up by 6? I mean, that was an incredibly risky call by Coach Siggs. But the guts shown by
Mhm.
Fernando was, you can't teach that. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the entire stadium and everyone watching on TV had the exact same reaction. As soon as you cross that first down line, everyone was celebrating. Yes, we got the first down somehow, but he didn't go down. He kept going,
I
and he
remember
made
that.
and he scored the touchdown. I'm like, oh my god, that is
Yeah.
incredible.
You see our bigs blocking for him, but then he did that spin move. It was like something out of a movie. It's like almost like it was in slow motion, even though it wasn't. And what you see there is, I just see heart, the
Uh,
word heart.
and he sacrificed his body too. But if I were to not be so cliche and go semi cliche, I would actually go with, if we weren't talking about like non-national championship related. I would say the Omar Cooper catch at Penn
Oh my
State.
gosh. Yeah,
I mean, that the slow mo and the toe tap, it
I
felt like
know.
he was levitating,
Yeah.
or floating. Now, the only downside with that kind of, if I want to, be pessimistic about it, is that we should have crushed Penn State that game. I know it was
Mhm.
at Penn State, but I think they were 3-5 at the time. They were having a bad year, but that catch, I think, was the best thing that happened to our season. I think that really helped us really get that extra momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's almost like that, if you want to call that game adversity. Like we didn't actually execute excellently on every phase, and we gave them. We thought we were. I mean, I thought we were going to lose that game up until that final moment. And the play before that, he threw a similar kind of like Hail Mary throw. I was like, oh yikes! And then to have it happen like that, I remember. I mean, I just think about myself catching a football. Like when your weight is on one side, you're gonna land on that side. But somehow it was like he was able to contort his body mid catch and get the one toe that could possibly tap to tap. And it was just incredible, that specific play.
I could even do that if you told me to do that and you gave me 10 chances and I wouldn't know what my brain would do with my legs. I mean, it's incredible. But in terms of adversity, it was the turning point of the season.
What's
We
that?
watched it together. First game of the year, first play of the year.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Old Dominion scored a touchdown on a QB planned run. It was 70 plus yards or whatever it was.
Hmm.
We were down 7-0 to Old Dominion. And we did not blow them out. I think we won like 27-14. Those are the types of wins that build character and really ensures that the team to not let their foot off the gas and not be complacent. And I
Yeah.
think those are the types of wins that actually helps us.
Great memory there. It's like I can only imagine Sigs during that halftime or even at the end of that quarter, like probably laid into the defense on that. Like
Oh
the first
yeah.
play of the game of the first of our season. Come on.
Uh, well, and we're champions, so okay. Okay.
Water under the bridge. All right.
Yeah.
So here's my fun surprise question. Give
Oh
me
boy.
your all-time favorite IU football player, current era or previous.
Wow. I'm gonna go away from the current era because I don't want to be cliche. So I'm gonna go back to can I modify your question? Can I pick one player from each coach?
Uh, that is remarkable encyclopedic knowledge, but go ahead.
All right. So 2008. Well, that's when I started becoming a fan. So we had Bill Lynch. And so we had one year, I think it was our junior year. We actually had a great team. We had a 5-win team, which was great for us, right? But we had Mr. Ben Chappell as our quarterback, Big Ben,
Uh-huh.
and he was a gunslinger, slow as a rock, but a gunslinger. And he had that awesome connection with Tandon Doss. And they were just, they were almost like reading each other's minds. And we had some really high scoring games as well that season, which was phenomenal. And then we had the next coach was Kevin Wilson. Kevin Wilson, those offenses were filthy. We
Mhm.
just couldn't defend anything.
Yeah.
And my favorite player, I would say, definitely is Tevin Coleman. I mean, who
Mhm.
rushes for over 2,000 yards in a season? That is just incredible. Those teams, I mean, again, had great offenses, but I think the games were like 52-49, almost every game with us losing. Tom Allen, got to go with Michael Penix Jr.,
Oh yeah.
the Atlanta Falcon. Such great talent, a lefty just like me. And he had another great play against Penn State, first game of the season during that COVID year, where he went for that 2-point conversion, had a dive for the pylon. Only problem with him, he couldn't stay healthy. He was made out of glass at IU. But I would say he made the right decision to transfer to Washington. Obviously, I think if he didn't do that, I don't know if he would be an NFL quarterback. But it is ironic that he followed his offensive coordinator from Indiana to Washington, who was the head coach of Washington, who is Kalen DeBoer, who is now the head coach at Bama. I mean, it's amazing how that comes full circle. And by the way, we did, as you mentioned earlier, we destroyed Bama 38-3 in the Rose Bowl. So that was a kind
Yeah.
of a nice little payback.
I love to see all the backpedaling by the pundits and people that are like SEC enthusiasts. It's like, yeah, eat that.
Paul Feinbaum is the number
That's
one
exactly what I
guy
was
that was
thinking. Yeah.
anti-IU all season, and I'm pretty sure he apologized after the
Good.
national championship.
Yeah. Well, so and then Sig's era, who do you got? And then I'll give you mine and we'll wrap.
Diggs era, ooh, I feel like Fernando Mendoza is too
Mhm.
cliche, so I'm gonna go with Charlie Becker.
I think so.
I,
Yeah.
I would say that just because he wasn't a factor in the first half of the year this year,
Mhm.
but that second half. he was everywhere. That possession receiver, every game sealing catch seemed like it was going to Charlie Becker. And it
Totally.
put a lot of pressure off Omar Cooper Jr. and a lot of pressure off Sherrod as well,
Yeah.
where he is going to be that focal point next year
Mhm.
for our offense. And I'm all about it.
Yeah, there was that one like fourth down or two fourth downs in a specific game where, I mean, the ball was just ripped to the sideline, and knowing that Becker would be there, the timing was perfect to make those catches. And just to hear about his come up of like he wasn't a starter, he wasn't even a factor, but again, just the coaching to make him an excellent receiver. I think my favorite player of all time, I'm gonna go with Antoine Randall L. Jr.
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, you can't go wrong with Antoine Randall. I mean, it's unfortunate I wasn't a fan back then, so I feel like I
Uh-huh.
can't choose him. But man, he was electric for IU, and obviously a great NFL player as a receiver. But that guy was very smart on the football field, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, he was I remember my parents would drag me to church, and I would be in the back cry room reading the Indy Star, reading about what Antoine Randall did the previous day. So
Yeah.
that was me in middle school and high school.
Oh, that's so great.
It's hilarious. But yeah, he even on the Steelers and stuff, he was like just an all-around threat. So he was
Oh
great. But
yeah.
man, really appreciate this time and talking to you about your one of your biggest passions in life. There's no better topic to get you on the podcast, and I'm grateful and honored to have you as a friend and participant. So thanks for joining.
Likewise. And thank you for having me. And I will be talking to you in mid-April after the IU basketball wins the national championship this year.
Love it. All right. See you, buddy. Have a good rest of the
Yeah.
night. Bye.
Take care.